Welcome to Tutor Hub channel. The Bellary Fort, Bellary Kote, was built on top of a hill called the Ballari Gudda or the Fort Hill. It is situated in the historic city of Bellary, in the Bellary district, in Karnataka state, India. It was built in two parts, namely, the Upper Fort and the Lower Fort. The Upper Fort was built by Hanumappa Nayaka, a feudatory of Vijayanagara Empire, but the Lower Fort was built by Hyder Ali in later part of the 18th century. A French engineer was the architect and builder of the Lower Fort. He refurbished the Upper Fort also. After the forts were completed, Hyder Ali found that the forts built were at a lower elevation vis-a-vis an opposite hill called the Kumbara Gudda, thus putting the new forts militarily at a strategic disadvantage. As a result, Hyder Ali was annoyed with this lapse, and it is said that he ordered hanging of the French engineer at the east gate of the fort. The French engineer's grave, dated 1769, inscribed as unknown French engineer, is located at the east gate of the fort and has been preserved due to efforts of local Muslims who also claim that it was the tomb that belonged to a Muslim saint. The forts had fine ramparts with a rich history with several historical and religious monuments. A citadel was in the upper fort with several ancient tanks, while the lower fort on the east housed the arsenal. The fort and the town are located around two prominent and large rocky granite hills, the Ballari Gudda, with the fort built on this hill, and Kumbara Gudda, means hill in Kannada. The two hills provide the dominant backdrop to the city, and can be seen from all parts of the city. Apart from these two hills, there are smaller hills such as the Kumbara Gudda near the present Municipal Junior College, the Vijayanagara Empire behind the Lingeshwara Temple, one hill adjacent to the St. John's High School in the fort area, and another hill near to the Bellary Central Jail. The fort located on the Ballari Gudda, on a spur of the Sandhu range at the border of Karnataka and Andhra Pradesh, has abundant granite outcrops. There is hardly any vegetation on the barren rocky countryside. The fort has a commanding view of the plains that form the present-day Bellary town. For the terrain in and around the Bellary Fort consists of granite rocks, which rises suddenly above the plains in the form of a very large mountain. The semi-elliptical shape of the hill has a longer northern side vis-a-vis the southern side. The rock formations consist of a mixture of granite with feldspar in large rhomboidal prismatic form. This type of rock creates a strong reflection of the sun's rays, causing very hot climatic conditions in the fort and the town. Bellary is considered one of the hottest places in India. The climatic condition of the place is explained as hot and arid, but is stated to be healthy weather. You can take an auto rickshaw from Bellary railway station. The fort has two parts. One is the ancient upper fort built during the Vijayanagara reign, and the other is the lower fort built during Hyder Ali's rule. The upper fort was called the Fort Hill. The lower fort was called the Face Hill, since some of the rocks in the fort area resembled the face of a human being. The upper fort houses the citadel, at the summit of the spur of the Bellary Gudda, with a three-tier fortification, one below the other. It is at an elevation 1,976 feet. It is quadrangular in plan, with a circumference of about 1.5 miles, 2.4 kilometers, and rises by about 460 feet, 140 meters, above the plains below. It can be accessed only through a winding rocky path amongst scattered boulders, which was considered impregnable. On the top, outside the citadel, is a small temple, the remains of some cells and several deep pools of water. Within the citadel, there are several strongly constructed buildings, and an ample water supply from reservoirs constructed in the clefts of the rocks. There are no garrisons in this fort. It contains several cisterns, which have been excavated in the rocks to provide for water storage. Outside the turreted ramparts is a ditch and a covered passage. The main turret on the east currently features a huge mural of the Indian flag, facing east. The lower fort, located at the eastern base of the rock, is about 0.5 miles, 0.80 kilometers, in diameter. It probably had an arsenal and barracks in the past. The fort structure is encircled by ramparts with numerous bastions surrounded by a deep ditch and glass ice. The lower fort has two entrance gates, one on the western end and the other on the eastern side. Just outside the eastern gate of the lower fort is a temple dedicated to Hanumappa Nayaka, the Kautanjanya Temple, a circumflex Fort in Kannada. In the past, the lower fort was inhabited by people who had flocked here seeking protection. During the British period, more buildings were added, namely the commissariat stores, the Protestant church, orphanage, Masonic lodge, post office, and numerous private dwellings. At present, it houses a number of public buildings, offices, educational institutions, temples and churches. The impressive fort is illuminated during Sundays and holidays of state and national importance. The fort is well connected by road, rail and air transport facilities linking all parts of the country, all linked to the Bellary city where the fort is located. National highways NH13 and NH63 and state highway road networks provide an excellent network of road communications in the district and to the town. 5. It is located at 300 kilometers 190 miles from Bangalore, the capital of Karnataka state. Distances to other important towns around Bellary are Kanai circumflex Euro 304 kilometers 189 miles, Hyder Ali circumflex Euro 148 kilometers 92 mi, Hospite circumflex Euro 63 kilometers 39 mile, H. B. Halie circumflex Euro 100 kilometers 62 mi, Hampi circumflex Euro 75 kilometers 47 mile, Hyderabad circumflex Euro 367 kilometers 228 mi, Kudligi circumflex Euro 85 kilometers 53 mile, Pune circumflex Euro 336 kilometers 209 mi, Sandura circumflex Euro 63 kilometers 39 mile, and Siragappa circumflex Euro 60 kilometers 37 mile. 14. The city has two railway stations, both built during the British rule: circumflex Euro, the city station, Bellary Junction, and the cantonment station, Cantonment. Railway links available are the Hyder Ali line and the extended Bellary Gudda line, and falls under the jurisdiction of South Western Railway. Bellary is also well connected by rail to Bengaluru, Racha, Hanumappa, Hindupuram, Tirupati, Hubballi, Guntakal, Vijayanagara, Horo etc. Guntakal is an important junction near Bellary from where trains to Delhi, Chennai, Mumbai and to most of the places in India are available. In the past, during British rule, the Southern Maratha Railway passed through the town connecting to Madras, now Chennai, via Hubballi on the west and Guntakal on the east. The civilian Bellary Airport is located at the far end of the cantonment area with regular flights operating from Bangalore and Goa. An airstrip located at the Jindal Vijayanagara Steel Complex, Turanagalu in Sandura Taluk, 40 kilometers 25 miles from Bellary, is used by private airlines to operate sightseeing charter flights to Hampi and since October 2002.